How's it going, everyone? My name is Wiz, and today I'm bringing you a little video. I'm just sort of recording on the spot here. I'm going to be showing you some of the builds I've made for Day 1 Crota's End coming up here soon. Like I said, this is just kind of on the spot. Like, I've just been really busy with work and stuff outside of work. Haven't really had time to kind of sit down and record and edit properly, so this is just kind of all off the cuff. So I apologize for the maybe awkward layout and transitions of everything, but we're just gonna go with it. All right, sounds good. Okay, so first, also forewarning, I'm gonna be potentially spoiling some encounters for Crota's End. This is basically just me using my recollection of how Crota's End was in the first game. Granted, a lot of these stuff are going to be subject to change because of what they did with Vault of Glass and King's Fall. All these encounters might be changed up a little bit where what I explained may not actually be the case. But in case they are, just a warning for you all. If you don't want to know mechanics or you want to go in completely kind of unaware what's going on, just a warning. Okay. First, I call this my mobile healer build. So the first encounter in Crota's End has you running through a lantern section or a lamp section, similar to the kind of lamp section in the Lightblade Strike, where you have to go to the lanterns to get rid of your stacks of creeping darkness or whatever it's called, or weight of darkness, whatever. Very, very similar sort of encounter, right? So my goal with this build was to provide a way to heal myself and my allies, but also being able to remain mobile, because in that encounter you're not going to be standing in one spot for very long, and with Well of Radiance and Healing Rifts, they're very, very helpful, but at the same time you can only put them in one spot. You can't move them around, so to speak. So my idea was to basically utilize healing grenades as much as I possibly could. So this is sort of built around healing grenades. My aspects here are Touch of Flame, so that actually improves my healing grenade, so it improves the strength of the cure and restoration effects from it. And then my other one, I just use Icarus Dash. I definitely value the movement Icarus Dash provides over Heat Rises. Plus with Heat Rises, you got to consume your grenade, and I don't want to do that with this build. I want to be able to utilize my healing grenades, so I don't want to use Heat Rises. I much rather have the movement Icarus Dash provides. So my fragments. I have Ember of Searing, so defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite, and we'll get into why melee energy is important here. And fire sprites grant grenade energy, so that's just something that's helped feeding into my grenades, which is a good thing. Powered melee attacks against combatants makes you and nearby allies radiant. Radiant will increase your weapon damage to combatants, and also will create you can also break anti-barrier shields while you're radiant. I have Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of the restoration and radiant effects applied to you. And this build utilizes Sunshot, so I have a solar weapon that will help me get this benefit. I have Ember of Benevolence. Applying restoration, cure, or radiant to allies grants increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration for a short time. Again, anything that's gonna help me get my grenade back faster is a good thing. So that's why I'm using that fragment there. This is just sort of a placeholder. This could be interchanged with anything, any kind of special weapon. And then my heavy, I'm just using a solar LMG. Just keep it the solar theme and the benefits I get from using solar weapons. But my main weapon here is going to be Sunshot. Sunshot is absolutely insane this season. Hand Cannon's got a buff, but also they nerfed double special as far as the heavy ammo generation capabilities, so using an exotic primary is actually way more effective now for heavy ammo generation. So I'm using Sunshot, and on my helmet I have heavy ammo finder and a heavy ammo scout. This will allow me to create heavy bricks, I think every 17 kills, something like that, with my Sunshot, and every time I make one, it'll make one for my allies as well. And the exotic helmet I'm using for this build is Verity's Brow, which weapon final blows with a damage type matching your subclass grant death throws, which provides grenade damage bonus. Now, since I'm using healing grenades, obviously those can't damage enemies, but what this helmet also does, it grants you grenade energy. And when I have death throws, which stacks up to 5 times, and I throw a grenade, which is hopefully going to be a lot, since I'm going to be spamming healing nades trying to heal everybody, nearby allies also gain greatly increased grenade regeneration for a short time, so it helps them get their grenades back too. So not only am I going to be a mobile healer, but more of a support role too, helping them get their abilities back faster. And I have Harmonic Siphon on just to make orbs when I get kills with Sunshot. The gauntlets, I have Harmonic Loader just to reload Sunshot a bit quicker. Its reload's kind of butt cheeks, so you know, anything helps there. I got Fastball, so I can throw my healing grenades further if I need to. Then Impact Induction, so causing damage to the melee attack, which I'm going to be utilizing because it makes me Radiance, will reduce my grenade cooldown as well. On my chest pieces, pretty much for all my chest pieces on these builds, just going to be resist mods of some kind. And I tried to think of like what damage types the Hive prioritize. So like there are like the Arc Boomer Knights, and then the Wizards do a lot of arc damage, but also have Harmonic Resistance, which in this case Solar. The Acolytes throw like their solar grenades, which can melt you really, really quick. Also the Thrall, I think their melee damages arc, and the Exploding Thrall are also arc. And then just have a Concussive Dampener on. On my boots, I just have one Solar Weapon Surge, just to help me kill things a little bit easier with Sunshot too, if needed, especially if I have like a kind of tankier target, as well as my LMG. It benefits that too. I have Recuperation, so it replenishes health each time I pick up an orb, which I'm going to be making a lot of. Then also reduces my grenade cooldown when I pick up an orb. So again, feeding into my grenades is a good thing. I have here a Reaper, so using my class ability, my next weapon, Final Blow, spawns an orb. It's just feeding into the whole system here. Powerful Attraction. When I use my class ability, I collect any nearby orbs. And then Bomber. When I use my class ability, I get a little bit of my grenade energy refunded. Yeah, so this is my little kind of mobile healer build here. Next, we're going to look at my Sunbracers build. Again, utilizing Sunshot, and these two weapons are just kind of placeholders. They can be interchanged with anything, really. On my helmet, this is, excuse me, sort of subject to change. I just have 3 Ashes assets on. Since I'm going to be throwing a lot of grenades, I figured might as well get the most out of it that I can by getting a lot of super energy refunded. And Sunbracers, and the way this gauntlet works is when I get a solar melee kill, it grants unlimited solar grenade energy for a brief time, so it allows me to throw up to like 5 or 6 in a row solar grenades, which are very, very good. Let me go over my aspects and fragments. The aspects are the same. The fragments, I have Embers of Ashes. You apply more Scorch stacks to targets. And I'm utilizing Incinerator Snap here. On the other build, I didn't actually go over this. On the other build, I utilize Celestial Fire because it has more range than Incinerator Snap does, and also the little projectiles, the tracking is a lot more effective on this melee. It has a longer cooldown, but it sort of hits more reliably, especially at range, so I utilize that on this build specifically. But on my Sunbracers build, I use Incinerator Snap because I need to guarantee I get a solar kill, or solar melee kill, and Incinerator Snap's actually stronger for that. What it does, if all little projectiles hit, or most of them hit anyway, you'll actually get an ignition, which is pretty much a guaranteed kill on most kind of mid to low level things. So that allows me to throw my solar nades, my unlimited solar nades. And plus the cooldown for Incinerator Snap is a little bit quicker. So on the Sunbracers themselves, I have Momentum Transfer, causing damage with a grenade reduces my melee cooldown, so it lets me get my Incinerator Snap back quicker, which then will allow me to get a kill with it and throw my grenades again. Firepower, so grenade final blows create orbs of power, and then fastball, so I can throw them farther. I don't think I actually went over the fragments. Started to, but I didn't finish it. Powered melee attacks make you nearby allies radiant, since I'm going to be utilizing that for Sunbracers. Figured that'd be a good pick. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates fire sprites. So, I mean, throwing my grenades and hitting melees, I'm going to be scorching a lot of things. So anytime I kill a scorched target, it's going to make a fire sprite, and fire sprites grant grenade energy. And then solar grenade final blows cure you. So I'm going to be throwing a lot of grenades. Chances are I'm going to be getting a lot of healing out of it too. Chest piece, again, just kind of resists mods here. Boots, I got one solar weapon surge. Got an absolution, reduces all ability cooldowns when I pick up an orb. And then elemental charge, collecting a fire sprite will give me an escalating chance to give me an armor charge. Since I'm going to be potentially creating a lot of them, I figured this would be a good choice to have here. And on the class item, I have powerful attraction. So when I use my class ability, I collect any nearby orbs. I have time dilation, just lets those stacks run a bit longer. Then outreach reduces melee cooldown when I use my class ability. And yeah, like I said, these two are just kind of interchangeable. That's just what I have on here, but this is my Sunbracers build. I also have a Cenotaph build here, and what Cenotaph does, for those who don't know, is a neat little helmet where if I damage a vehicle or a boss or a champion with a trace rifle, it marks them as a target. When an ally defeats that target, special ammo is created for me, and heavy ammo is created for my allies. This is just a heavy ammo generator, basically. When my ally defeats a target that I mark with my trace rifle, it'll create special ammo for me, which will give me ammo for my trace rifle, and it'll make heavy ammo for everyone else on my team. So this is just a good sort of support build here for making a lot of heavy ammo for my teammates. And for my primary, I just have Lumina. It's a really good hand cannon, and like I said, hand cannons got buffed, and double special got nerfed, so I wasn't going to run another special weapon here. I could if I wanted, because trace rifles are kind of like auto rifles that just use ammo, so I could use another special if I wanted to. I could switch it out. I could also use this trace rifle if I wanted, the Navigator, and give allies woven mail too. It gives them an extra layer of protection. But so those are kind of interchangeable. This is just what I had selected for here, and sword I have on just for movement. But again, that could be interchangeable. It just depends on what the encounter calls for. And if there is an encounter where there just aren't many like yellow bar enemies, obviously I wouldn't be running this. I'd be more so prioritizing using a heavy ammo finder and heavy ammo scout and use an exotic primary for it. But if we find ourselves in a room or an encounter that has a, you know, sort of abundance of yellow bar like boss level enemies, Cenotaph is you know, a good option to have here. And by the way, have you ever seen such poor stats? Like, I've seen straight lines curvier than this stat distribution. My goodness. Okay, anyway. Next, those are kind of my main ones that I'm going to be running. I honestly don't see myself coming off of a solar subclass, especially because of how stupid strong Well of Radiance is. But again, we don't know what you know, situations might call for, so I have some other stuff set up too. I have a Geomag build here. Geomags are pretty good again, actually, and they got a recent change where collecting ionic traces grants you energy for chaos reach. So how these boots used to work is when you got to like 90% of your super bar full, if you sprinted, it would top off your super, so it basically give you all that super energy just like that. So now what it does, anytime you collect an ionic trace, it'll give you a decent little chunk of your super energy. So I like to pair that with Cold Heart. And what Cold Heart does now is periodically generates ionic traces while it's in its high damage state. And basically the high damage state is it deals more damage the longer it remains on target. So as long as you're continuously hitting shots, especially for like kind of tankier things, so it will allow the weapon to sort of rev up a bit, so to speak, you're going to be creating ionic traces for yourself and will give me super energy quicker. Let's go over the aspects and fragments. For the aspects, I have Electrostatic Mind. So if I defeat a target with arc abilities, or if I defeat jolted or blinded targets, it creates an ionic trace, and we'll get to why that's important. And then next I have Arc Soul. Anytime I put my Rift down, it's going to give me Arc Soul and my teammates Arc Soul. So this is just a very, very solid option. Not only for me, but my teammates can benefit from it as well. And if you've noticed, a lot of my builds are kind of more support based. That's just the kind of thing I like to play. I love to play anything that kind of helps my teammates out, not just myself. Spark of Beacon. So while you're amplified, Arc Special Weapon Final Blows creates a blinding explosion. And since I'm using Cold Heart, which is an Arc Special Weapon, that applies to that. And it goes well with this aspect where if I defeat jolted or blinded targets, so I'm going to be causing, I'm going to be blinding enemies with this, and then defeating blinded enemies will give me an Ionic Trace, which is good for my boots. And how Geomags work. Spark of Resistance. So while I'm surrounded, you're more resistant in incoming damage. Damage resistance is a very good thing to have. Spark of Magnitude. Your lingering arc grenades have extended duration, and I've chosen to go with pulse grenades. Pulse grenades are very, very strong. And Spark of Discharge. So Arc Weapon Final Blows, so in this case Cold Heart, has a chance to create an Ionic Trace. So right now I have 3 different potential sources of creating Ionic Traces. So the more of those, the better. And then here I just have Ball Lightning Melee. I could use that one if I wanted to. This one just has a little bit more range. Honestly, that really doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want. And then Healing Rift. Again, these are sort of interchangeable. Since I'm using Arc Weapon Surges, I figured I'd put an Arc Heavy on. So I have this Demo Clown Hothead I have on here. Let me save that, actually. Excuse me. All right, so on the helmet, I have Special Ammo Finder. Just sort of as a placeholder, just so I can make sure I have more Cold Heart ammo. Ashes to Assets. This is another sort of way to give myself some super energy by throwing grenades and getting kills with it. And then Harmonic Siphon, so Rapid Arc Final Blows, Arc Weapon Final Blows create an Orb of Power. I'm using Cold Heart a lot, so that works with that. This must have got deleted. Honestly, don't remember what I had here. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Impact Induction, causing damage to the melee attack, reducing my grenade cooldown, and since I have Ashes to Assets, getting my grenade quick is somewhat important. Then Fastball, I'm gonna throw it further. Maybe it was Firepower. I think that was it. We'll go with that. Grenade Final Blows create an Orb of Power. There we go. We're creating builds together. Isn't this fun? Chest piece, again, just going to be damage resist mods. Boots. I just have 2 Arc Weapon Surges on. And here, Time Dilation. Lets me have the Arc Surge longer. Bomber. When I use my Rift, I get Grenade cooldown. And when I use my Rift, I collect nearby orbs. That's that guy. Void build, I've showcased this before. This is one of my favorite builds in the game. Volatile Rounds is one of my favorite sort of abilities. So this heavily utilizes that. And because of how volatile rounds work, it works good against anti-barrier champions, and there are anti-barrier hive. So there's a pretty good chance we'll have anti-barrier champs in this raid. So I guess this is sort of my anti-barrier champ loadout, because I have Arbalist on as well. And I have a Funnel Web, Subsistence Adrenaline Junkie, and my Commemoration. It all kind of revolves around this helm. Nezarec Sin helmet. Void damage kills increases ability, energy, recharge rate. Basically, void kills of any source, whether it's weapons or abilities, it's gonna get my abilities back faster. So I can throw a grenade, which getting a kill with it will give me ×5 Adrenaline Junkie here, and I can just go to town with Funnel Web and get my grenade back really, really quickly. And defeating targets with grenade grants volatile rounds. So even the volatile explosions will be benefited from the abilities of this helm. So void kills of any kind, so even if it's void volatility, it'll feed into my ability regeneration. So I think this is a very fun helmet for those who just like to slay out with weapons and just kill a bunch of stuff really, really quickly. It's a very fun helmet. I love it. I have Ashes to Assets. Getting kills with grenades is sort of kind of what this build revolves around for the most part, so might as well get some super energy while I'm at it. Harmonic Siphon, so I'm going to be creating orbs off of my Void Weapon kills. And then I just have Font of Wisdom, it just gives me a bonus to my intellect. Let's see, Gauntlets. I have Shield Break Charge on. They did say, I don't remember if it was just an interview with Joe Blackburn or if it was one of the Twabs or Twids or whatever they're calling them these days. I feel like someone somewhere said that contest mode enemies are going to be more aggressive and have more shields. And when I think about it, usually when acolytes have shields, they are void. So since it's sort of an all void loadout, I figured Shield Break Charge makes the most sense here. And again, something got removed. I want to say it was Bolstering. Yeah, I think it was Bolstering Detonation. We'll go with that. Grants class ability energy when I cause damage with a grenade. I'm going to be throwing those a lot. And when I put my Rift down as a Void subclass, I get the Child of the Old Gods Void aspect here. Which creates a Void Soul, sends out a Void Soul when I damage an enemy when I'm sending in my Rift, and will weaken them. When a target is being drained, you are granted grenade and melee energy. And then I have Feed the Void, so Devour, so this just keeps me alive. As long as I have Devoured, I keep getting kills. It reprocs, and it gives me full health again. And I'm using Vortex Grenade, just because its killing power is very, very good. You throw it, it kind of sucks enemies in and traps them there for a little bit. And, yeah, I just like Vortex Grenade a lot. I have Echo of Expulsion, so Void ability Final Blows cause targets to explode. I have Defeating Targets Grenades give me volatile rounds. My Lingering Grenade effects, so my Vortex Grenade has an increased duration. And then Undermining, so my Void Grenades also weaken targets. Why do I have Kinetic Surge on? I have no idea. Void Weapon Surge all day. And then go Innervation. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then class item, I have Reaper. So when I put my class ability down, or yeah, my Rift down, I get a weapon kill, I make an orb, and then 2 bombers. And then last but not least, it's just a fun little Strand build. I don't know if I'll actually use it, but it's a pretty fun one. This is sort of like a damage rotation build. So if we find that Well of Radiance just isn't going to be the play for whatever reason, I might see myself running this. So there's some cool little damage rotation stuff you can do with a Strand Warlock using Necrotic Grip and a bait and switch rocket. So how the rotation works is it utilizes Threat of Ascent. So activating your grenade ability reloads your equipped weapon and grants bonus airborne effectiveness and handling. Excuse me, man, talking so much hurts. So when I use my grenade ability, in this case I have the grapple, just because it's got the shortest cooldown, and that's what I want here. It'll reload my rocket, and Necrotic Grip allows my melee to do some damage over time, and it pairs well with Osteostriga. So let's go over the aspects here before I get too ahead of myself. These aren't really super important. I just have Weaver's Call, so put my Rift down, it creates threadlings that deploy. And I have this: tangles you throw, attach targets, and detonate. Just suspending burst, destroy tangle, creates this suspending burst after a delay. I could put Weave Walk on, but that's interesting. Oh well, I'll mess with it later. Like I said, this is very off the cuff. Threat of Generation is very important because dealing damage generates grenade energy, and that's any kind of damage. That's weapon damage, ability damage, whatever. So that's why the damage over time is important with Necrotic Grip. So with the Strand Warlock subclass, you actually get 3 melee charges, so I can shoot out a melee really quick. fire my weapons, get bait and switch going. And then while the damage is ticking from necrotic grip, it'll be sort of refilling my melee energy or my grenade energy, which will allow me to reload my bait and switch rocket. It's just some kind of fun damage rotation stuff you could do. And I've got 3x solar surge going, since it's going to be heavily utilized or heavily focused on weapon damage. I've got a Cartesian coordinate and Apex Predator bait and switch, and Osteostriga also lets me do damage over time and pairs well with necrotic grip. Here, my helmet a little bit different. I have rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb, so I'm going to be using Osteostriga to be killing a lot of stuff. I have powerful friends and radiant light. Since it's sort of a damage rotation, I'm going to be throwing my super in somewhere in that rotation, so doing that with radiant light will give my allies armor charge, but also anytime I get a charge, they will also become charged with powerful friends. Necrotic grip, 2 impact induction, so causing damage to the melee attack reduces grenade cooldown. So again, when I throw out my little dart and it does damage over time, each time it ticks, it'll give me a little bit of my grenade energy back. And I have solar dexterity, just allows me to ready and stow my Cartesian coordinate and apex rocket quicker. Chest piece, again, just all resist stuff here. Boots, 3x weapon, solar surge. And bond. I have a time dilation to keep my solar weapon surge active a little bit longer. I have outreach, produces melee cooldown when I use my class ability. And then this automatically picks up orbs when I use my class ability. That's pretty much it. So thank you for listening to my rambling. Yeah. See y'all in Crota's End. Bye. Love you.